3 miners save 1,000 pesos monthly for 10 years. All disciplined, all consistent. One retires wealthy, one retires comfortable, one retires broke. Same savings, different compounding frequency. That frequency determined everything. This is called the compound interval principle. Money compounds 3 ways: daily, monthly, yearly. Most people think the amount saved matters most. Wrong. The frequency of compounding matters exponentially more. A peso that compounds daily beats 10 pesos that compound yearly. Your savings account compounds annually. Your investment account compounds monthly. Same discipline, same contribution. Wildly different outcomes because compounding frequency multiplies differently. This is not about working harder to save more. This is about understanding that compound math is ruthlessly unforgiving about frequency. Annual compounding is linear growth pretending to be exponential. Daily compounding is exponential growth that looks like magic. The math gap is invisible until year 5. Then it becomes undeniable. Same starting point. Same monthly discipline. Different compound structures. One structure barely beats inflation. Another structure builds modest wealth. The third structure creates generational fortune. You are choosing a compound interval right now, whether you know it or not. A silver mining town in Nevada. 1,870. 3 miners arrive the same week. 30 years old, no savings. They work identical shifts, earn identical wages. $120 monthly. They all commit to saving $30 monthly. 25% savings rate. Exceptional discipline for all 3. They choose different vehicles for their savings. Different vehicles have different compound intervals. This choice will determine their entire financial future. Carlos chooses a savings account at the town bank. Safe, guaranteed. 3% annual interest compounded once per year. Every December 31st, his balance grows by 3%. That is his compound interval, annual. Once every 365 days, his money reproduces. The other 364 days, it sits static. Miguel chooses government bonds through a broker. Slightly better return. 4% annual interest compounded monthly. Every month end, his balance grows by 1/3 of 1%. That is his compound interval. Monthly, his money reproduces 12 times yearly instead of once. It's more frequent breeding cycles. Antonio chooses a different path. He does not save at all in the traditional sense. He invests his $30 monthly into a small mining equipment rental business. He buys used equipment and rents it to other miners daily. Every single day, his capital works. Every day, it generates returns that get reinvested immediately. That is his compound interval, daily. His money reproduces 365 times yearly. Year 1 reveals nothing. Carlos deposits $30 monthly into his savings account. By year end, he has $365. The annual compound event happens. 3% of 365 is $11. Total, $376. He feels responsible, smart. His money is growing. Miguel deposits $30 monthly into bonds. Each month, his existing balance compounds at 1/3 of 1%, while new deposits arrive. By year end, he has $371 before the final compound. After 12 compound events total, $377, $1 more than Carlos, barely noticeable. He thinks monthly compounding is not much different from annual. Antonio invests his $30 monthly into equipment. He buys one pickaxe for $30, rents it for 50 cents daily. That is $15 monthly revenue on $30 capital, 50% monthly return. Aggressive but achievable in a boomtown. He reinvests the $15 profit immediately into more equipment. By month 2, he can buy half of another pickaxe. His capital compounds every single day as rental revenue comes in and gets reinvested. By year end, his equipment is worth $680, generating $34 monthly. His compound interval is daily. The difference is not visible yet. Year 3 exposes the first divergence. Carlos continues depositing $30 monthly. His balance grows predictably. Annual compounding is steady but slow. Total, $1,170. Linear growth with a tiny exponential curve. He is ahead of most people. He feels secure. Miguel continues his bond deposits. Monthly compounding is adding up incrementally. 12 compound events yearly versus 1 makes a small difference. Total, $1,185. $15 ahead of Carlos. The monthly compound frequency is barely beating annual frequency. He expected more. He is slightly disappointed but stays disciplined. Antonio's equipment business is compounding daily. Every day his equipment generates revenue. Every day that revenue buys more equipment or replaces worn items. He still only contributes $30 monthly from his mining wages. But his business now owns equipment worth $3,100, generating $155 monthly. His daily compounding created exponential separation. He's not working harder. His money is reproducing 365 times yearly, instead of once or 12 times. Year 5 makes the pattern undeniable. Carlos has $1,990. Solid emergency fund. His annual compounding is working. Slow, steady, reliable. He is proud of his discipline. He is wealthier than 90% of miners who save nothing. Miguel has $2,030. His monthly compounding pulled ahead of Carlos by $40. 12 compound cycles yearly beats 1 compound cycle yearly. The math is irrefutable. But the difference is modest. After 5 years of discipline, monthly versus annual compounding only created $40 of separation. He thinks compound frequency does not matter much. Antonio's equipment business is worth $14,500, generating $725 monthly. His daily compounding created a different financial reality. He still works the mines. But his equipment business now generates more than his mining wages. His money reproduces every single day. Each day builds on the previous day. 365 compound events yearly creates exponential divergence from 12 or 1 compound events yearly. Year 10 delivers the final verdict. Carlos has $4,180. A decade of discipline. Annual compounding at 3%. He can survive 1 year without work. Respectable. He did everything personal finance books recommend. Save consistently. Let it compound. Be patient. He followed the rules, but annual compounding has a ceiling. Miguel has $4,290. His monthly compounding beat Carlos by $110 over 10 years. That is the difference between 12 compound cycles yearly and 1 compound cycle yearly. Modest, barely noticeable. Monthly compounding is better than annual compounding, but not dramatically. The frequency increase from 1 to 12 did not create magic. He saved the same amount as Carlos for 10 years, got 2.6% more wealth. Not life-changing. Antonio's equipment business is worth $89,000, generating $4,450 monthly. His daily compounding created a completely different outcome. He contributed the same $30 monthly as Carlos and Miguel. 360 total contributions over 10 years. But his money compounded 3,650 times instead of 120 times or 10 times. That frequency difference created $85,000 of wealth gap. He can retire, Carlos and Miguel cannot. Same discipline, different compound interval. Here is the mechanism that most people never see. Compounding is not linear, it is exponential. But exponential growth only appears when compound frequency is high enough. Annual compounding looks linear for decades. Monthly compounding looks slightly curved. Daily compounding looks exponential. The math is brutal. Carlos's money sat idle 364 days per year. It only worked 1 day annually. Miguel's money sat idle 335 days per year. It only worked 30 days annually in 12 separate events. Antonio's money worked 365 days per year. It never sat idle. Every single day it reproduced. Think about seeds. If you plant seeds once per year, you get 1 harvest per year. If you plant seeds monthly, you get 12 harvests per year. If you plant seeds daily, and each harvest produces seeds that get replanted immediately, you get 365 compounding harvests per year. Same seeds, different planting frequency. The daily planter dominates the annual planter by orders of magnitude.
Your own money right now.
Where is it sitting? Your savings account compounds annually, or maybe monthly. Your investment account compounds monthly if you reinvest dividends. Your business compounds daily if structured correctly. Your job compounds never. You trade time for money. Time disappears. Money does not compound.
If most of your wealth sits in annual or monthly compound vehicles, you are Carlos or Miguel.
You work hard. You save diligently. You will retire with modest security, but you will never be wealthy. The compound frequency ceiling prevents it. People think daily compounding requires complex strategies. Wrong. Daily compounding requires ownership. Savings accounts are not yours. You loan money to banks. They pay you annual interest. Bonds are not yours. You loan money to governments. They pay you monthly interest. Businesses are yours. They generate daily revenue. You reinvest daily. That is daily compounding. The trap is thinking monthly is good enough. Monthly beats annual. True. But monthly is still 97% idle time. Your money works 30 days per year. Sits dormant 335 days per year. Daily compounding eliminates idle time. Your money works 365 days per year. The difference is not 30 times better. It is exponentially better because each day builds on all previous days. First, diagnose your current compound interval.
Look at where your savings sit. Savings account. That is annual compounding. Brokerage with monthly dividend reinvestment. That is monthly compounding. Business generating daily revenue that you reinvest. That is daily compounding. Calculate what percentage of your wealth is in each category.
Second, understand the brutal reality. If more than 50% of your savings are in annual or monthly compound vehicles, you will not build significant wealth in your lifetime. The math does not allow it. Carlos and Miguel proved this. 10 years of discipline, modest outcomes. The compound interval ceiling is real. Third, shift allocation toward daily compounding vehicles. This means ownership, small businesses, rental properties, equipment that generates daily revenue, online assets that compound daily, anything where your capital works every single day and profits get reinvested immediately. Target moving 50% of investable capital into daily compounding structures over 2 years. Fourth, understand this requires different thinking. Savings accounts are passive. Deposit and forget. Daily compounding vehicles are active ownership. You must manage. You must reinvest. You must optimize. The trade-off is simple. Passive gives you annual compounding. Active gives you daily compounding. Choose your ceiling. Fifth, start small with daily compounding. You do not need 30,000 pesos to start a business. Antonio started with 30 pesos monthly buying used equipment. Small, daily compounding beats large annual compounding within 3 years. The key is frequency, not size. Month 1 of daily compounding feels like more work than monthly compounding. True. You manage daily instead of monthly. But the exponential payoff appears by year 3. You decide if the work is worth exponential returns versus linear returns. Year 1, daily compounding might underperform monthly compounding. You are learning, building systems. The compound frequency has not had time to create separation. Stay disciplined. Year 3, daily compounding pulls ahead noticeably. The frequency advantage becomes visible. You earn more from daily compounding assets than from monthly compounding assets, despite smaller initial capital. Year 5, daily compounding dominates. The exponential curve is undeniable. Your daily compounding wealth is 3 to 5 times your monthly compounding wealth. The gap will never close, will only widen. Year 10, you realize compound frequency was always the game. Amount saved mattered, but frequency of compounding mattered exponentially more. The miners taught this lesson across a decade. 3 miners. Same discipline, same monthly contribution. One chose annual compounding. One chose monthly compounding. One chose daily compounding. Annual compounding built security. Monthly compounding built slightly better security. Daily compounding built wealth. The difference was not effort. The difference was how often their money reproduced. How often does your money compound right now? That frequency is deciding your future faster than the amount you save.
More frameworks ahead.